Hello there, my very good friends, and a warm welcoming good afternoons to you. On this video, AEW Rampage cancelled.
AEW stars are teasing their return.
Tony Khan documentary was on Fox and people be speculating.
And surprise, surprise, the Outrunners Rule. I'm Adam Wilborn.
I'm Andy Murray.
And this is the After News.
Alright, we're a little late getting to this one, but it looks like AEW Rampage is going to be cancelled.
Yeah.
When the new TV deal kicks in and replaced potentially with Shockwave. This is coming to us from Dave Meltzer. He phoned me directly to tell me about this. I said, hello David, how are you? And he went, hello Andy. Let me check my notes. It's half an hour.
I was going to say, it's a minimum of 30 minutes, that conversation, isn't it?
And we say these jokes with love, by the way, just to clarify.
Yeah.
But he's reported that a source has indicated that when this new TV deal, when this new Warner Brothers deal kicks in and the old one ends, Rampage will become a thing of the past. This is according to one of his sources, and Shockwave will become a thing. Shockwave, it's believed, will air somebody else, and it will replace Rampage as AEW's third weekly show. Meltzer also reported that there might be some AEW programming on True TV, which is another Warner-owned networky thing, but that would be replays of Collision and Dynamite. Because Fox, no, not Fox, Warner,
right,
third time's a charm, want to make that more of a sports-based property. So obviously, look, Rampage is the third, of the three, it's the third most important weekly show. It's an hour long, it's in a death time slot, awful time slot for viewership. 10, 11?
10, something like that.
10 p.m. on a Friday night? I'm in bed, brother. Like, you leave me be. So it stands to reason that if you're going to get rid of one, you're going to get rid of the lowest performing one. And ultimately, it would be a positive for AEW, right? Because if they pull off a lower performing show and replace it with one that theoretically, if it's going out on Fox or FS1 or whatever, should do better, it's an upgrade.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah, no great surprises here, like you say. I mean, when Rampage first came along, I was a big fan of it. I loved to just, there you go, 1 hour of extra wrestling from AEW, because you felt like you weren't quite, you just wanted more when it was just Dynamite on its own back in the day, of course. Then obviously it got sort of swamped by Collision, and then it sort of effectively, there was some good stuff. Occasionally you could put some matches on there and you'd be like, oh God, I've got to watch Rampage this week. But a lot of the times it did feel like it was a new version of sort of Dark or Dark Elevation in terms of people just getting kind of bog standard wins, very predictable sort of matches. Very interesting to see what happens with the sort of pecking order of shows now within AEW if they have this show on Fox, like you say. Because Dynamite, obviously, big A show. Collision, it always felt Collision was next and then Rampage. But like, new show on Fox, does that overtake Collision in terms of if they have a big match that they're not going to put on Dynamite, do they put it on Shockwave next?
I don't know, it'll be interesting. I wonder what night it's going to be on as well, because that Friday night time slot is bad. 10 p.m, gee whiz. And that is reflected in its performance, although it does well for its time slot, Rampage, which is always where the bad faith arguments, it sucks, like, blah, 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 it's going to get whatever, kind of fall apart. It's not ever in a spot where it's going to do well. They don't book it for, like, a show that's going to do well either, do they? They don't put a lot of...
you can't go earlier because you'll be going head-to-head with SmackDown.
Yeah, it's very skippable, Rampage. So what do? You can't go head-to-head with SmackDown or Raw, because, Raw's going on Netflix, but that's... placing a great demand, you will get whomped. Thursday night is Impact night. They would fare a lot better against Impact, but do they want to do that? I don't know. Sunday night? Who knows?
Yeah, like I say, outside of those days, you're outside of the Friday, which they're already on, and Saturday, which they're on with Collision. You move around, you have to kind of go head-to-head with something unless you do a Sunday night wrestling show, which would then... Although nowadays the pay-per-views are on Saturday, but then that would make it weird because there's no way you're doing a Saturday pay-per-view and then going, quick, we've got to do a TV for Shockwave after that. So, I'm very interested to see what happens with this.
We can probably rule Sunday out as well because Tony, I believe, has previously said he doesn't want to clash with the NFL. And that's
of course,
big football. I always watch the Baltimore Bastards on a Sunday.
I always watch my beloved Colts lose, it seems.
Aye, big Andrew Luck, my guy. Is he cancelled or anything?
Might as well have said Peyton Manning at this point.
All right, okay. What about Brett Favre? Is he still kicking about?
I don't know. I think he tried to branch into politics. And,
oh dear. Oh gosh.
We all know how that sort of thing usually goes. But I'm excited for a big opening because they always do big stuff on those sort of shows. So, and how they divide the talent, we'll keep you posted on any developments as and when we get them.
Yeah, but summarised, I don't really watch Rampage unless there's a match that tickles my fancy.
Yes, exactly.
So, I won't miss it. Will you miss it? Let us know down below.
Two people who could be on Shockwave, I suppose, anything's possible, is Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi.
That would cause a shock wave.
They would indeed. They are teasing their return on, also I should say Kota Ibushi specifically is teasing their return on social media, posting a photo of him and Kenny with the caption, "World domination is just days away, had a golden practice. After a long time, we are still far from done. Next, AEW." So I'm not going to sit here and say, well, that means they're on Grand Slam next week, but promising signs. Obviously, the two of them have been through a horrific time throughout this year. Kenny Omega, of course, suffering with diverticulitis, had to have surgery, etc., etc. Kota Ibushi, I think, broke both ankles or smashed his feet up, certainly.
I think it's safe to assume that Kota Ibushi broke everything.
Yes.
Let's just say everything.
He has only wrestled one exhibition and two trios matches this year.
Yeah.
Although he is set for a match on October 6th, the GLEAT show from Osaka. Omega, we heard a while back, was training with moderate intensity. There was a word about, like, not really taking proper bumps, but he's getting there. Exciting times. I suppose it sort of boils down, and it's interesting because we spoke to Sidge, big AEW fan in the office, about this, about what you want both of them, or specifically Kenny Omega, to do when he's returning. Sidge is very much in the camp of he wants Kenny Omega to come back and just be a single star, but there is a lot of demand for the Golden Lovers to reunite.
Yeah, I have a multi-leveled feeling and take and opinion about all of this. Obviously, good to see them back.
Yes,
good to see them back training.
Main thing, yeah.
Like Kenny's brush with diverticulitis is no joke, and he has been very forthcoming in sharing information about his recovery and his process and everything, and he's a very honest guy, and it's been nice hearing from him and seeing updates like this, obviously, and he's been streaming a fair bit as well.
The only thing I know about diverticulitis is Brock had about a third of his colon removed or something when he had it.
It's bad business. Ibushi has basically been injured for about 3 years. He suffered a serious injury in New Japan after, in the G1 Climax, in the finals against Kazuchika Okada, after coming back a little bit too early from an injury or a concussion issue. I don't remember the specifics, but he had problems. He came back and he got badly hurt again. He took a long period out. He had a very messy contract dispute with New Japan that led to his release. He came back. He worked GCW over a WrestleMania weekend. I think it was GCW at least. And he came into AEW, and it's like, oh, Kota Ibushi, awesome. He's one of the best.
Expectations,
And the performances just weren't quite there. Kota Ibushi wasn't quite Kota Ibushi. He was fairly slow. He didn't look locked in. His performances were, and I say this with love because I love Kota Ibushi, not up to his old standards.
No. Did like the bit where he rode around on a bike hitting people with a pipe, though.
That's always good banter.
That match was awesome.
Always good banter. Then he went to Noah earlier this year. And he had the Marufuji match, which might be the worst wrestling match of the year.
Yeah.
It was an omni shambles, and he got badly hurt again with his ankles. He's just in bad shape. Kota Ibushi, and look, I'm not his doctor, but he strikes me as a guy who needed a long break.
Yes.
So I've not watched any of his matches since he came back, but I hope he's had enough, and I hope he's recovered to at least something resembling the Ibushi of old. Because at the time he took the time off, I did not need to see any more of that man. And I'm a big Golden Star fan. I'm a big Golden Lovers fan in general. So I understand completely. Look, it's these guys are awesome. They're incredible. They have great chemistry.
Yeah.
They inspire a lot of devotion in people. So I will not rain on anyone's enthusiasm. I'm just approaching this with a little bit of caution, based on what Kota Ibushi has been over the past couple of years.
I suppose it's striking that balance, isn't it, of like what's most important for AEW, because I think Kenny Omega being a single star in AEW could do big things for them, particularly right now. Then again, you know, what do they want to do?
Yeah.
If they've been through this awful time and just like, God, I just want to get back in a wrestling ring eventually, and for us to team up, if they want to be a team, who are we to sort of deny that? If that's what they want to do.
Exactly. Like they've been friends for ages and ages. Like if they want to go, I just want to come back and do cool things with my mates.
Yeah.
Cool. Like, absolutely. Do your thing.
Most important thing, we just want to see him back between the ropes, basically.
Definitely. And if not 100%, if they can be 100%, something resembling that.
Yes.
Because they've had a rough couple of years, these poor guys, and I would just like to see them back, kicking ass, healthy, whether it's together, whether it's apart. It's just nice.
Yeah.
It's a nice thing.
And of course, their first opponent, if they did come back to the tag team, would be the team
Here we go. Riho.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, it fits.
Riho teaming with Kiera Hogan. So
all right, AEW. Oh sure, yeah.
You heard it here first.
Kiera Hogan is a underrated pro wrestler, and Rio obviously has a close connection to Kenny. So why not?
I think if they're at their peak, that could actually be a really good match.
Yeah, sod it. Why the heck not? Right, let's talk about Tony Khan a little bit. We'll just kind of breeze through this one because there's not much to it. But yesterday on FS1, which is a Fox network, there was a thing called The Beauty of Football. And it was going over Tony Khan's experience on the third day of the NFL draft. That was the 27th of April 2024. Following him around as he was in the offices doing drafts, and then going to Daly's place where he had Rampage and Collision and stuff. He was in the neck brace throughout. It was after they did the EVP angle that went nowhere. Great.
Yeah.
But yeah, it aired on FS1 before Dynamite last night, and obviously there's lots of speculation on AEW going to Fox potentially with Shockwave. Maybe that'll go out on FS1. So that thing there sparked a lot of speculation. It could also just be a purely football thing that has absolutely nothing to do with wrestling, but it maybe indicates something else.
Yeah, these things are often not a coincidence.
Yes.
I thought it was just fascinating. I love these sort of things. You know, we get like All or Nothing here in the UK with regards to football. But I love seeing things behind the scenes, like especially American football, where generally I'll keep up with the Colts results. I'll watch a little bit of like the Chiefs or whatever because they're the biggest team right now. They're the dominating team. Probably going to do another Super Bowl victory next year. But that aside from the Super Bowl, I don't really get into much behind the scenes stuff. I just threw the ball, caught the ball, tackled the man, whatever. But I love seeing stuff like this. I think it's really interesting behind the scenes, especially around the draft. And I've also seen a clip on Twitter where people are like, "Why the hell is he wearing a neck brace?"
Wrestling, baby, is the best thing ever.
Yeah, it's funny seeing real life crossover with wrestling stuff that we're just so used to.
Those Jacksonville Dolphins fans just don't get it, do they? They just don't get it.
I just love that. Just there's some of the richest American football teams owners in the world just turn up all suited and booted trying to sign the next best quarterback, and then they're like, "Is everything all right with Tony?"
I thought that was awesome. I thought the neck brace thing on NFL programming, was that the night he called WWE the Weinstein of wrestling as well?
It's around that time, wasn't it? Wild West.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
Right, story 4.
Yes. And the best story, because it's the best team, Andy Murray. It's the youngest man alive, the Outrunners, Truth Magnum, Turbo Floyd, our favourites. Please let us interview you. I don't care if it's me. Simon Miller, I know, has personally reached out as well. He's started a campaign. I want to see him tag with them, to be honest.
Me too.
That is the greatest trio in the history of wrestling, IMO. But they're awesome. They're everywhere right now, as they deserve to be. I think they should probably be the next tag team champions, if I'm honest. But they've been on Talk is Jericho, which is one of the best podcasts out there, Andy, that's, not ours. And they're just the best. They discussed on Talk is Jericho, along with a variety of other amazing issues, their past in WCCW, saying, The Undertaker wanted us to watch back one of his matches. He came back and I was absolutely livid. I said, Mark, which I found out later was his name. Brilliant. I said, Mark, it's a good thing you're walking around like a zombie because this town is officially dead. Just give them everything. They are incredible. And if you're anything like me, and I know I am, you love the Outrunners.
That's a great story, Adam. But let me tell you about these steaks you can buy. The Talk is Jericho experience. Yeah. That is a great line. Listen, Mark, which I later found out was his name. Very good. Very funny. I love these guys. How can you not enjoy this?
I agree. If you need to, they're being silly and cosplaying, but they are nailing it.
They're killing it. It's like, I often think that, right, you can like what you like,
yes.
Right? You can dislike anything you want. Everything is subjective. It's fine. But I often think that when something is popping off and when it's getting really popular, if you really don't like it, if your whole thing is being a stick in the mud and publicly going, this sucks, you're being an asshole, kind of. Hold it in. You don't have to let the world know. And we've seen a little bit of that with the Outrunners recently. People just, I don't know. People just have to SHIT on things sometimes. This, to me, is one of the most purely joyful things in wrestling at the moment. They rule. They're extremely funny, as we've just learned. And well, we haven't just learned. We've known it for like 2 years.
The moment they had that first backstage thing with Lexi Nair.
We are the youngest men alive.
This isn't sweat, it's sports gloss. I mean, If you don't enjoy it, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, just tune out.
Just have some fun.
Just tune out. Watch something else. They rule. I love it.
You know what? That really hurt. But
Yeah. The reason I love it the most, though, I think, is because often when people do like retro gimmicks and you know, gimmicks that are designed to make you laugh as well as like go, this rocks, often it's a piss take. Often they are just taking the piss out of the material that they've based their act on. I do not get that impression with the Outrunners at all. I think Truth Magnum and Turbo Floyd, they love this stuff, the 80s stuff that they are paying tribute to. And I think that comes out in the work.
Yeah, you'd get found out, wouldn't you? You're right.
And they don't just dress and come down the ring and...
It's not just a promo, is it?
No, they wrestle like it as well. It's awesome.
You and I have talked a lot about kind of being sometimes a little bit burnt out on wrestling. We love that we get to do this as a job, but there's times when it just does feel like a bit of a chore to be like,
it feels like a job, yeah.
Yeah, you're watching a match and you're like, I feel like I should feel more for this, and I feel like fans are going to enjoy this, they're a fan of this sort of thing, and it's just wrestling happening in front of me. When those two are on camera, or in particular in a ring, I cannot take my eyes off them. Turbo Floyd in particular, when Truth's talking, and Truth Magnum's amazing as well, the faces that he pulls, or just the way he just takes sunglasses off, amazing.
They're great.
Give them the world.
They're great. They're great. They're getting over now as well. They've got the awesome entrance music now.
Yes.
I think Dance with the Dead or something.
Yes, Scott was explaining to me about this. He was loving it.
They've got the big gal, Erica Lee.
Yes.
As well. She's doing the whole fitness instructor vibe. It's awesome. It's great.
They in one of the matches they had recently, they did the Predator elbow drop. Completely mistimed it, and I couldn't have cared less.
Turbo Floyd, you son of a bitch!
Blah!
It's awesome.
It's like it's Stone Cold Stomps, isn't it?
Yeah.
That was a bit off, but because I love him and them so much, you just sort of let it slide.
Who cares?
Get them more on television. Do you know what? Give them Shockwave. Just have an hour of them, and the ratings would be through the goddamn roof.
Yeah. Like, just gonna wrap a neat little bow on all of this all together. I think they are fantastic. They call back to an era of wrestling that I am extremely nostalgic for, and they are unlike anything else out there right now because they love the material. Give them the world. I don't care. They rule.
Tell you what else
Love
rules.
the Outrunners.
This morning's news video, which
Check.
is available right here.
In the words of the Beastie Boys, check it out. Yep, bye. See you.